Hey everybody, it's Tim Hinton, the beast of the marching arts, and today I'm the beast of the baking arts. Look what I'm making. Zucchini bread. Oh, it's so good. I have never made it. It's the new thing for me. I've just started making it lately. So if you're watching this, whenever you might be watching this, thanks for tuning in for a minute. I already have a couple of zucchini breads over there because I'm making 4 zucchini breads today. That's right. This is crazy. Beast of the marching arts, making the beast of the baking arts. Making zucchini breads. I never had zucchini breads growing up. We had all kinds of great things that my mother was a wonderful cook and my sisters learned to cook. I never did. I'm catching up now. But here we go. I've got 2 medium-sized zucchinis as suggested in the recipe that I'm using from that wonderful Once Upon a Chef, which is a site that every time I use her recipes, things go really well. So anyway, I had to bake a couple more zucchini breads today. I'll explain to you why in just a minute. And so I was like, well, I might as well do a couple online. I could talk to you about stuff that's going on in marching arts education, the Marching Roundtable. So first thing I'm going to do is I have 2 sticks of unsalted butter. Who doesn't love unsalted butter, right? I have 2 sticks of those. And I'm going to put those in, they're supposed to be actually melted. So I'm going to put them over here in the microwave. Get that going because the recipe says melted and then slightly cooled. So by the time hopefully I get done with the next part, I'll be ready for that. So I'm going to take my zucchinis. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take my zucchinis and I have to cut them up and then I'm going to put them in my, isn't this cute? My tiny little food processor. I love it. I don't know if you can see it from over there. Oh, here, I'll do this. Isn't that just adorable? I love it. And this was my suggestion from my sister. I was like, I need a food processor. And they're like, get the little tiny one. I love this thing. I got to tell you, because I have to sometimes put multiple things in, but the cleanup is really easy. Supposedly the thing with the big food processor is all these pieces, it's a lot to clean up. You don't want to pull it out a lot. This little thing, I love it. So anyway, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my zucchinis. I'm making zucchini bread, everybody. I never had zucchini bread growing up, but I'm liking it. And I'm making them and sending them off to friends and relatives. So anyway, I'm going to slice it up so that I'm going to put them in the food processor and then mulch it up so that it's ready to go into the bread. So I'm going to start by just cutting the 2 zucchini down into these small bits, which I'm going to throw into the food processor. Got my butter melting over there. I'm going to be using that in just a little bit. So you're wondering, why am I making 4? I already have a couple over there. Why am I throwing this knife around like it's nothing? Anyway, hopefully you won't see me impale myself with this knife on this live broadcast. Why am I making all these zucchini breads? Well, here's the thing. I love to do all this baking. So finding it's very zen. You know, right now in the middle of all these shutdowns and everything going on. I'm in Florida where the Delta variant is going crazy because everybody's decided masks don't matter and vaccines, whatever. I'm vaccinated. I wear my mask. But anyway, there's a lot of things I can't do that normally sort of keep me calm, make me happy, hobbies or things that I do for fun. So I've been doing more and more baking all the time because I find baking is very zen. It's very zen, everybody. I like it. It makes me very calm. But here's the thing. Hang on a minute. Okay, so then see, I'm going to do this in several stages, and you get this very cool, like zucchini slaw-looking mulchy thing. Anyway, I'm going to be, I'm starting. That's the first step in the process is getting the zucchini sort of mulched up. I'm sure that's not the right baking technical term, but anyway, I've been doing a lot of baking because it makes me happy, and I don't want to eat it all. Obviously, I'm trying to stay in shape. But it makes me really happy to share it with other people. And everybody always seems happy to get a delicious, baked good, and they can enjoy it with them and their family or whatever. So I've gotten where I'm giving a lot of them away, and I've gotten now where I mailed them a lot away. I actually bought like banana bread, zucchini bread sized mailing boxes, sending those off. But anyway, it makes me really happy. And I feel like right now everybody's struggling. I feel like everybody's struggling right now. Like we thought we were getting out of this. People have a lot on their plate. They're struggling, and hopefully me sending them zucchini bread or banana bread or whatever sort of makes things better. So it's a way I'm trying to bring some joy to the world, and it makes me happy to share it and to cook it. Everybody always seems really happy to get them. So yay, so that's what I'm doing is I'm making all these zucchini breads. I have a specific reason that I'm making them today. I have a wonderful friend who is in the hospital, and she is undergoing a lot of physical therapy for what's going on with her. And so I was like, what can I can't really do anything for her. She has other friends that are doing like really important things that she needs. And I'm like, what can I do to help? So I was like, well, can I make something that you could give to the hospital staff? She has these wonderful nurses and the personal training people that are physical therapy people that are helping her. But anyway, hopefully we're going to be able to give some of these, if not all of these zucchini breads to the hospital staff as her way of saying thank you. And it's something I can do for her. Like, what else can I do for her? But she's wonderful. She is being really super brave and working really hard with her therapy and stuff that she's going through. So, what can you do? That's just one of the things I'm doing. And, if I have one left over, I'll mail it off to somebody. Or I'm enjoying these zucchini breads enough, I might just have it myself. We'll see. Anyway, right now I'm taking the zucchini, I cut it up, and I'm going to chop it up and grind it up so that it's sort of mulched up. Let's see. What does she call it? She calls it grated. So I don't know if I'm grading it. I might be doing more than grading because I'm sort of mulching it up. But anyway, it works. And the zucchini breads are really good. So I hope I'm doing it right. I'm trying. Anyway, so I'm making zucchini bread, everybody, for a friend of mine who's in the hospital to give to people at the hospital staff. Or I might actually be eating part of this myself. Anyway, I have one other thing I'm going to bake later today, but I'm not going to talk about that. So while we're here, I'm going to talk about some of the things that are going on. What I just was doing before I started this whole zucchini bread extravaganza this morning, I already made two. They're over there, if you can see them back in the back, cooling on the thing, making two more. I'm editing. The next week is our Dci Recap Podcast. It's always really fun to do. I do it different every year, get some people together to talk about it. And my wonderful friend, supporter of the podcast, Chaz Waldrop, and his daughter Hannah and their friend Pete, they went to DCI on Friday and sat and watched all the shows. So I invited them to come and talk to me about it, and they did a little review while they were there, and then we have this, we did a podcast recording. So if you remember, you can see the video version, of course, which I was just finishing editing. So that's who's going to be talking about shows this year, and I think it's great. Sometimes it's fun just to have the fans' perspective. Like I did the whole series this summer, with the designers and the staff, educational staff, and everything. There's the zucchini all mulched up, grated, as you will, from the food processor. It's ready to go in. This, I've just never been in love with zucchini before, but it's so good in these zucchini breads. I'm all about it. The next thing I have to do, put this to this over here out of the way. The next thing I've got to do is, the next step of the process is to get the flour and all the wonderful spices and put them all in. So that's the next thing I'm going to do. Anyway, I know I'm sort of stream of consciousness here, but the DCI thing comes out. There's 2-part podcast next week. I just finished editing the video that members can see. So I hope you'll check that out. It was really fun. Wasn't it amazing? The DCI actually happened. Look, it's amazing. It actually happened. Where's my medium bowl? Here we go. So what I'm going to do, I've gotten better at this too. I'm going to measure out the flour, and what you do is you spoon it into the measuring cup, and then you level it off. There's 1 cup. This recipe calls for 3 cups of flour, so I'm just going to do this 3 times. It's amazing to me. I had so much fun talking to everybody from DCI this summer, getting ready for the season. And they pulled it off. It was an unbelievable work. They had so many extra steps and things to worry about and taking care of students and protocols. And of course, that all happened. Plus, they had bus breakdowns and food truck problems, the whole thing. It's just amazing that they were able to make it work. So my hat's off to everybody, and we had a season, and the students had a great experience, and it's fun for us to talk about it. So anyway, that's what we're doing next week's podcast. On Monday and Thursday, we talk about the DCI season that was. I don't know why I do that, but I just want to make sure all the flour gets out. Okay, I'm going to use this flour again in a minute. When I flour up my pans, I'll be telling you about that special too thing. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. Whoever's watching right now, thank you for watching. If you have any comments, type them in. I'd love for you to say hello. And if you have ideas for what you want me to bake next, let me know. Now, here's the thing about zucchini bread. It's very akin to pumpkin bread because it has all these sort of fall spices, cinnamon and nutmeg, and I love all that stuff. I love pumpkin bread. So I'm making zucchini bread right now. If you just signed on, thanks for watching. So I'm going to add in the spices. So let me get here's my 1 and my half. Let's start with cinnamon. Who doesn't love cinnamon? Yes, I use a lot of this because I've been making a lot of zucchini breads. So here's what I'm going to do. It's 2.5 teaspoons. So there's that. I'm going to level it off. There's 1. There's another one. Level it off. 2. Now for the half. Level it off. Boom. I'm getting better at this, aren't I? If you've ever watched me before, I am getting a lot better. So there that is. Next up is nutmeg, which makes everything wonderful. I'm going to half a thing of that, half a teaspoon of that. I'm going to level it off. I don't know if you can see at all what I'm doing here. And that went all over the counter, so that wasn't so neat. All right, there's those two. The next thing on it is a teaspoon of baking soda. Let me wipe all the cinnamon off this thing. I'm making zucchini bread, everybody, for my friend who's in the hospital. So we're going to take them up there, and hopefully she's going to give them to all the wonderful staff and nurses and physical therapists that are helping her out. And it's something I can do for her. What else can I do for her right now? Nothing. So I'm making baked goods for her to try to say thank you to everybody up there that's taking such good care of her. Real heroes right now, obviously, but everything that's going on. Then a half of baking powder. This is a really easy recipe. And the thing I love about it is I do have to get my food processor out, but I don't have to get my whole giant mixer out. You just sort of mix it by hand, which is sort of fun. So you'll see that in a minute if you're still watching. There's a half a teaspoon of baking powder. And then last thing, 1 teaspoon of salt. There we go. Salt. I hope you're all doing okay. Like I said, I do this as a way of trying to share some joy with other people, sort of keep myself calm and zenned up and relaxed. So here's all the spices, the flour and all the spices, the cinnamon, the nutmeg, the salt, the baking powder, and the baking soda. I am making zucchini bread. I'm on the step where I'm mixing the flour with all the spices, and I'm going to set this to the side. I am really making some tracks here because I'm getting close to starting to put everything together. Okay, so there that is. So that's going to be sitting over here, ready to go. The next big step, this is where it starts to get really fun, is you start to mix all the other cool stuff together. And the first thing you do is you whisk together the eggs and the sugar. So sugar is 1 3/4. Here's my cool sugar container. See? Beet sugar. There it is. So I'm going to put that in next. Here's the 1. So I fill that cup. Boom. And then 3/4. I'm going to get my 1/4. I'm making zucchini bread, everybody. If you're somebody that likes baked goods, I might actually send you one. Send me a note. Tell me what you'd like, and if I can get it to you, I will. I've been mailing stuff to people to try to make them happy and bring some joy in this crazy time. And then 3 eggs. So here's eggs. Just going to put these in here with the sugar and start by whisking that all together. There's 1. Making zucchini breads. I never had zucchini bread growing up, but I got to tell you, I'm a fan. There's lots of different ways you can make it. The recipe that I put the link to, where this you can see this playing, it's from Once Upon a Chef. I love that site. She says that you can put a variety of different things in with it. So I've had fun experimenting with different amounts of different things, but I usually always add the chocolate chips because who doesn't like chocolate chips in something, right? So that's one of the things I do. So now I've got the eggs and the sugar, and I'm going to whisk this together. It's the first step of the process. I don't know if you can see what's going on here. Whisking the eggs and the sugar. All kinds of good stuff going on. If you're not, don't subscribe to our newsletter at Marketing Education. That's the best way to find out everything that's going on. This week's podcast are about the Olympics. See, I got eggs and sugar. Yeah, I just thought the Olympics were really interesting, and there kept being things that were discussed that I thought were relevant to the marketing arts. So the one that was out Monday with Gary Gribble and Joel Denton was about lessons that Gary had made a post about this on Facebook about lessons from the Olympics. And then the other one that's out today with the wonderful Patty Beggy and Jackie Gilly. God, they were wonderful. You should check that one out. That podcast out today is about risk and reward. And when you're watching the gymnastics, they kept talking about, well, they're trying this extra hard thing, but then they don't do it as well. So is it worth going for it or not? And I thought that was really applicable to us as we make design decisions. So you should hear them out. That Patty Beggy she is on it. You should totally watch that. So the next thing I'm going to do is you add the butter, the zucchini, and vanilla. So let's start by adding the butter. Wait a minute. No, let's not do that. Let's start. Hope you're having a good day, everybody. If you're watching this, I'm making zucchini breads for a friend. I've been mailing off zucchini breads and pumpkin breads and banana breads. Everybody likes to get them. It's a way I try to bring a little joy to the world, help people, bring a little sunshine to everybody's having a hard time right now, I feel like. It's quite possibly the hardest time that we've had in this whole thing. Next, I'm going to add the butter. Baking makes me happy. And I got to tell you that when you have banana bread or zucchini bread in the oven, oh my gosh, the house smells amazing. It's unbelievable. And then the next thing I'm going to do is add the vanilla. And how much is it? 2 teaspoons. Time for the vanilla, everybody. Who doesn't like vanilla and everything? 1, 2. All right. It's just about time to start putting everything together. Now, before I do the final mixing, so this, if you can see this, I don't want to pour it all over everywhere, but it's got the zucchini that I grated up, the butter, and then the sugar and the egg. And I'm sort of like this starting point. And I have the flour mixed over there with the spices. And then I'm going to add the final step where you can add either nuts, raisins, currants, chocolate chips. I'll show you what I'm going to do for this batch. I've been doing it different for each one. I'm doing this one without nuts because I'm not sure everybody always likes nuts. And the ones I made earlier today that are back over there. Wait, they're there. I can't do it. Those had nuts in them, plus some chocolate chips. So I'm making this set without nuts. Before I do this, I'm going to get my pans ready. I usually wait till later in the process these days because I want to make sure that they don't sit too long because getting the breads out of the pan is like a big deal. And I keep having this problem where they're getting stuck on the bottom. And that just makes the presentation of the bread not as cool. So I'm just putting some spray on here. And what I'm going to do, even though she doesn't tell you to in the recipe, she does on the banana bread, but not on the zucchini bread. I don't have to ask you why that is. I'm going to flour these puppies. If you can see what I'm doing, I'm getting some flour, and I'm going to flour the pan a lot. So that hopefully will keep it from sticking. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'm like trying to get it all around the edges. And then I'm going to make sure that there is a ton of flour on the bottom. Because I've been having issues with them sticking on the bottom, and I don't like that. So I don't care if there's just a ton of flour on the bottom of these things when they come out. I don't want the zucchini bread sticking to the bottom of the pan. So I'm putting flour all around the edges. I don't know if you can see this. Trying to make sure that everything is as floured up as possible. And then I'm going to put extra on the bottom because I do not want these things to stick. Okay? Well, we'll see. The ones I did this morning that are over there, one of them stuck a little bit and one of them didn't. And I can't figure out what I'm doing to make them stick or not. So anyway, that's what that's all about. Hope you're having an awesome day, everybody. And I hope that you are taking care of yourself. One of the things I do to take care of myself is to do some baking. So it makes me happy. It makes me calmer. And I get to share it with people and hopefully bring a little joy to them too. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm almost ready to put the zucchini breasts together. And once I'm done with this whole thing, is I have my mixture here of the zucchini, sugar, butter, eggs. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my mixture of the flour mixture that I made already. That is flour plus cinnamon and nutmeg, all those delicious things, plus baking powder and baking soda and salt. Now I'm going to mix that all together in the bowl. And this is the thing I like about this is rather than like a banana bread where you use the mixer and it sort of puts everything together, I'm actually doing it by hand. I don't know if you can see this at all, but I'm actually mixing this by hand. You have to be very careful because, of course, you can slop it all off all over everything, which I often do. But I'm mixing it. You don't want to over mix these breads. You want to mix them just enough. So I'm going to mix this until it's sort of all mixed in. Got to get all that flour mixed in with the other stuff. And then the last step is you just add whatever you're going to add. In the recipe, she suggests currants and walnuts. I made some with walnuts and chocolate chips earlier. She says the trick is you can put up to, a cup and a half of whatever. So you can sort of put the amount of all that you want. So I'm going to try something different on this one. You're here to witness it. But I'm going to be putting 3/4 raisins and 3/4 chips. And we'll just see what happens. No walnuts for this one. So here's this. I'm going to do 3/4 of raisins. Let's see how this goes. Here's one. More raisins. 2. I don't think this is that exact a science. Okay, that's more or less 3/4 cup, maybe a little bit less. And then I am going to do 3/4 cup of chocolate chips because they're just delicious in this thing. I'm making a zucchini bread, everybody. All right, so there I've got 3/4 cup raisins, 3/4 cup. See, there it all is, and I'm going to mix it all together. I'm making the zucchini bread. I'm at the very last step, everybody. I put all the ingredients together, the shredded zucchini, the flour, the sugar, the butter, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now I put in the raisins and the chocolate chips, and I'm only going to mix it as much as I have to get it evenly distributed. I don't want them clumpy inside. Evenly distributed throughout the whole thing. My mouth is watering. This looks really good. So there it is, sort of this pasty thing that has all those in it. And now I'm going to get my 2 pans that I just prepared that are hopefully floured adequately. And I'm going to put half in one and half in the other. This is where you have to try to really get this evenly split. Be a little bit tricky. Show you how I do that. So I'm putting them into the prepared pans, and I'm going to throw them in the oven for an hour on 325. Try to divide it evenly so that they're the same size, so they'll cook the same amount and come out the same way. Let's see how I did. I'm taking it and I'm spreading it evenly throughout the pan. I'm going to do the other one, and I'm going to see if they look like they are even. This one has slightly more. Put it over here. Got it pretty much close to that today, being even. They don't have to be perfect. They tend to make themselves perfect as they go. Okay. There they are, everybody. There's the 2, and I'm going to put them in the oven for 1 hour. Almost done with this whole thing. So everybody, at the end, of my process of making zucchini breads. Just put it all together, making them for a friend. Here's what they look like, ready to go in the oven. Let me tidy up a little bit here so there aren't little bits that get cooked unevenly or burn. All right. And now I'm going to put them in the oven. It's exciting. There's the first one. There's the second one. Hey Siri, set an alarm for 1 hour. All right, so at 11:56 a.m. my time, they will come out of the oven. And I'll show you what they're going to look like, as I made two this morning. So here we go. Still a little bit warm in my hand. That's what the zucchini bread looks like when it's done. This one has nuts and chocolate chips in it. Doesn't that look? I tell you, they're delicious. I mean, I never grew up with zucchini breads. I like pumpkin breads a lot. I like banana breads. So there are those first two right there. The ones I just made have raisins and chocolate chips. Who doesn't love that with the zucchini? So those will be out in an hour, and I'll post a picture of how they turned out. Thanks everybody for watching. I didn't get to all the stuff that's going on, but if we have all kinds of great content right now at Marching Arts Education. Right now we're talking about the Olympics. Next week is our Dci Recap. We have student leadership stuff from the Madison Scouts. We have the expert lesson series for young musicians from the Phantom Regiment. Great stuff. Games that Kick from Fran Kick. Oh gosh, I'm forgetting all kinds of stuff. But there's all kinds of resources that we're working really hard. If you have ideas or suggestions for what you'd like us to do, let me know. And I see that Jeremy Hunt was on here earlier. Jeremy, I don't know if you're still here, but man, you did it. You did exactly what you said you were going to do with that Phantom Regiment show. First off, you were the crowd favorite. And number two, you did all the things you said you were going to do. You gave us all those moments. I'm really proud of you. So anyway, thanks for the note. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a great day. Jeremy, you're still here, man. You did it. You pulled it off. You did exactly what you said you were going to do. Super proud of my corps of the Phantom Regiment. What a great summer. The talk of DCI this year. You guys did it. Super proud. Anyway, everybody get to do some baking. Share it with your friends. Help spread goodness to the world. That's what I've been trying to do too. Sign up for our newsletter so you know all the stuff we're trying to do at Marching Arts Education and the Marching Roundtable. Beast of the Marching Arts. I am going to go to my next thing. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a great day.